Welcome, my name is Katie Badeaux. I am the Instructional Design and Training Specialist here at Element Technologies, and I have my colleague Mike Strebig on the line with me as well. If you want to say hi, Mike.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, Mike is going to be helping assist with answering questions. If you have comments or concerns, things that you need, please feel free to send those in the chat. And if we can't answer them right now in the session, we'll be happy to follow up with you. We are going to be discussing our SetBuilder tool today from NetDocuments. So this is an add-on tool that we can utilize to bring together our NetDocuments file into a binder or into a PDF. So we're going to be going through some of the tools that you can use when you're working with SetBuilder and kind of just taking a look around there. And can you all see my screen okay? Mike, are you seeing my
screen? It's looking good. Yeah. Thanks,
okay,
Katie.
perfect. Excellent. All right. So today we're going to talk about a few different things. We'll talk about what SetBuilder is, what the tool actually does, and then we're going to go in and do a little demo. I'll show you how to create a new set as well as how to add documents to that set. We'll look at some of the additional kind of functionality in SetBuilder, including the ability to use headers and placeholders to create some really nice structure and to be able to revisit that set over time. We'll wrap up our webinar today by looking at our completed binder that contains, all of the documents that we're going to be adding to our set today to see that sort of polished finished product. Now we are going to be using Zoom for today's course, so you can send your messages in the chat as mentioned, and we'll be happy to address them. So what exactly is our SetBuilder tool? SetBuilder allows you to take your NetDocuments files and combine them into a PDF binder or a zip file. Now, this occurs inside of the NetDocuments program, so you don't have to take your files outside of the system in order to create this binder or this zip file. You can also link directly to the file inside of NetDocuments, which is really convenient for updating your binder as changes may occur to that document. So I'll show you in just a moment what that means. Essentially, you can build out your SetBuilder set, put all of your documents in, and then over time, if things happen, changes get made to the documents, instead of having to go back in and kind of rebuild your whole binder all over again or drag those files out to a different program, like I know a lot of us have done before in the past, we sort of just regenerate our binder, and it's a matter of a couple of different clicks to get all of those updates in at once, and that can really speed up your workflow. This set is also available and easily accessible to all of your users inside of the workspace. So the SetBuilder tool lives inside of your workspace. As long as your users are going in there and using that workspace already, they'll also have access to any sets that are in that workspace. There are also some nice kind of tools that you can use to make sure, as I said, that binder is looking polished and looking clean. It creates a bookmark index automatically so that you can easily navigate throughout that binder. As we all know, sometimes they can be very long kind of documents. So having those bookmarks in your PDF can make navigating very simple, and you can also add in some Bates numbering just in one fell swoop. Again, the goal here is speed, right? We're keeping organized and we're doing things, in a way that's going to save you some time. So let's go ahead and actually look at the tool. I'll get out of my PowerPoint here and into my workspace. So here we are in our Oceanic Airlines workspace, and we're going to access our SetBuilder tool by using this Sets tab up here at the top of the screen. Now, before we get into the tool, I do want to point out that when you have SetBuilder enabled in your repository, you will see this little Sets folder inside of your view. This is going to be the area that all of your files kind of live for SetBuilder. So once you save your binder, it's going to be populated here. If you create any copies of your documents, they're going to live here in the Sets folder as well. So if you're seeing that in your workspaces, that's kind of what that's for. It serves to aid in the creation of these sets. So let's go ahead and actually click on that Sets tab. Now, if this is the first time that you're using SetBuilder, you may have to allow access, and that's fine. I've already gone ahead and done that. And we're going to create a brand new set here today. We're going to create a trial binder as an example. So I'll begin by clicking on Add Set, and I'm going to name that set. So I'll call this Trial Binder Oceanic Airlines. And I'll go ahead and click Add to create that set. This is going to bring me into the set, and it's going to bring me into edit mode. So once we're in edit mode, we can see we have the name of the set up at the top, and then we have these tools in this toolbar that will appear right beneath the name. These are the tools that we're going to use to kind of build out the set that we're working with. Before we dive into adding documents, I do just want to show you some other pieces here. You can mark your set as being in progress, final, or inactive. So as you're working on it, potentially as you have multiple people's hands on this set and on this kind of process, you can communicate, between your users. Where are we? Is this, still in flux? Are we still kind of editing this set, or is it finished? We have those options there. We can also switch in and out of edit mode. So this is an important piece. Right now, we are in edit mode because we're seeing these tools. Sometimes you'll come into SetBuilder and you won't be in edit mode yet, and you won't see those tools. Don't worry, they haven't disappeared. They're not going anywhere. You just have to use this button to say, yes, I do want to edit this set. I want to go in there and make some changes. And that will cause this toolbar to appear for you. So the first thing that we want to do is add in some documents here. So we'll click our Add Documents button to grab the files that we want to put into our set. So I'll go ahead and click on SetBuilder. Or I'm sorry, I'll click on that Add Documents button, and it brings me into the Add Documents page. I have a few different options on how I want to get my files into my set. I'm going to begin with my Select Documents from the Workspace option. So this is going to allow me to actually pull from my NetDocuments file. I can see that I'm looking at files here from Oceanic Airlines, the workspace that I'm currently living in. And I've got all of my folders down here that I could come in and browse if desired. I can also search inside of the workspace to find the files that I'm looking for. So I'm going to run a quick search for interrogatories. So I've got a couple of different documents here, and I do want to add some of them into my set. Now, there are a few different methods on how we can put documents from our workspace into our set. So I'm going to show you both of those here. We'll start with our Jane Doe interrogatory. So I'll put a little check mark there to indicate this is, the document I want to select. And then I have two options here. I can copy or I can link this document. I will say most of the time I tend to rely on the link functionality because it will just create a connection between the original file and then the set index that we're building here. So I'll go ahead and click link to begin. It's going to link that document. Now, the benefit of linking, folks, is how I mentioned before, kind of being able to smoothly update those changes. So when you're linking back to your original NetDocuments file, if someone comes in and makes changes to that original NetDocuments file in the workspace, those changes are going to be automatically reflected in the set. So you don't have to go in there and manually, move different copies over or ensure that it's the most up-to-date version. However, the document is in its status in NetDocuments is going to be reflected in your set. So that's the benefit of linking a document. It says here, my selected documents have been successfully linked, and that's looking good. So I'm going to select some more documents. And then the other option that we have is copy. Now, copy is going to, as it says, create a second copy of this document that's going to live in that sets folder that I showed you right at the beginning. So this is, also a really helpful tool. It will create, a second copy of that document. So you do have to be careful to make sure that you're working with the correct copy. and that's actually what you want to do, and that you're not just kind of creating extra instances of that document that you might not necessarily need. Reasons I've seen folks use copy is if they want to have documents that have different names than the original in the set, or if they have one that they want to kind of keep internal and another that's a little bit more polished that they want to put into the set. So there's different reasons that you could use it, but you do have both of those tools, link and copy, available to you. I could come back in here and select more documents if I wanted to. One question that I get a lot is, well, can I pull from a different workspace? And the answer is yes. We do have right here, it's showing me that I'm pulling from my current workspace, Oceanic Airlines. However, if I wanted to do a different workspace, all I have to do is click on this little arrow and find the other workspace that I want to pull from. So maybe I want to pull from a different Oceanic workspace. Let's see. Well, I'll pull from this one. And it just brings you to a different page where it's showing you now the contents of this different workspace. So you're not limited to the workspace that you're currently in, though of course most of the time you would be using the workspace that you're in. So I'm going to close out of this area and get back to my set so we can take a look at what that looks like. So now I've got these two documents that have been added to my set, my Jane Doe interrogatory and my John Doe interrogatory. Let's add a couple more because 2 documents is not really enough for a whole binder. So I'm going to again click on this little piece of paper button that allows me to add documents. And this time I'm going to click upload documents so that I can upload from my local computer. And I'm going to grab a couple of different files here. So I'll grab my cover page. I'll grab my case summary and my contact list. And I want to add these to the set as well. So SetBuilder is going to come in, it's going to add these documents to the set. And now I've got, 5 here. And then the last kind of piece of this is the drag and drop functionality, which can be really nice. So I'll once again go back to add documents, and you can see I have this drag and drop tool. Now, one of the reasons that I really love drag and drop is that you can drag entire folders into SetBuilder, and it will retain the structure of that folder. So for example, I have this exhibits folder on my local computer. And if I go into that exhibits folder, I can see that there are 3 documents here. I have my exhibit list, exhibit A, and exhibit B. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag and drop this entire folder into SetBuilder. And what it does is it maintains that structure for me. So I can see the name of my folder, exhibits. And in fact, I'm going to pull this up here just so we can see kind of how it pulled over. The name of my folder, exhibits, has been brought in here as a heading. So it's showing me that exhibits heading. And then the contents of my folder, these 3 files, have been brought in as sub items. So what this can be really beneficial for is if you have a folder structure, maybe one that was sent to you or one that was created on your local computer, and it has your documents organized in a way that makes a lot of sense to you, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can maintain that structure, bring it into your set, and again, always the goal, save yourself some time there. So that's a really nice feature of that drag and drop functionality. Let's see here. Okay. So I can reorder my documents however I want, just by clicking and dragging. You'll notice that my cursor has kind of these 4 arrows in any direction. So for example, I want my cover page to be the first item in my set. So I'm going to drag it up to the top there and list it as my first item. And then, I want my contact list and my case summary sort of up towards the top as well. You can drag left and right to determine if that's going to be kind of a sub item or, what level your document is going to be in the list. So you can see if I'm dragging left and right, it'll determine, is this going to be beneath kind of my item above? I've got, 1, and then it comes down to A. And all of this is kind of controlled by that click and drag functionality. And it sort of very neatly and nicely just sort of snaps into place there. Now, we do want to add some structure here and some organization so that it's a little bit easier to see what I'm looking at. I'm going to add some headers here to break up my documents and to give it that structure. So I'll go ahead and click on this H button to add a header. And I'll just begin typing. I'll call this one reference. I'm going to do another one here for meetings, discovery, and pre-trial. All right, and just like my other items, I can click and drag these where they need to be. So I'm going to drag reference up here right beneath my cover page, and I'm going to drag pleadings, discovery, and pre-trial right here beneath case summary. So with just a couple simple clicks, I'm really starting to build out my set here. I've got my documents, I've got my headers, and the numbering, kind of in place. And another piece that I really like is something called placeholders. So let's say that I know that I need to put an answer to complaint in here, but I don't have it yet. For whatever reason, somebody hasn't gotten the document to me. And I want to ensure that I save a space for it so that when I do finally get that document, it's really easy to plug in. So I'm going to click on my add placeholder button. It looks like kind of two sets of brackets here. And once again, it's going to give me this opportunity to type down here at the bottom. So I'll say answer to complaint. And now I have that placeholder there. It's bolded and it's in brackets so that your eye is really drawn there to say, hey, something's missing, right? There needs to be a document here. And I can just come in and drag it to where it needs to be. So I'll put this here. Now you'll notice that our text is kind of coming up with different formatting. So our documents are going to show up as this link that we can actually, click on to get to the document. Our headers are going to be our regular sort of black text. And then our placeholders are going to be this sort of bolded text. So that's one way that SetBuilder kind of distinguishes between the types of items that you're seeing in your set. Now, let's say, a week goes by, I finally get in this answer to complaint and I am ready to fill in my placeholder, so that I can put the document where it needs to go. I can really simply kind of hover over that item, and it does give me a couple of different tools here. I'm going to click on my ellipsis button, and clicking on my ellipsis button allows me to select this set document option. So I'm going to be replacing my placeholder with an actual document. I'm going to go into my workspace where I know that item is saved and just run a little search for it. There it is. This is exactly what I'm looking for. So I'll select it in the list and I'm going to create a link. There we go. My placeholder has now been replaced with the actual document itself. And this is looking pretty good to me. Now, one thing I want to kind of adjust a little bit here is my numbering. So I can see that I have, my cover page numbered, I have my headers numbered, and that's not necessarily what I want. These aren't, items in my binder. They're just kind of, giving me some organization. So I want to get rid of the numbering for those items. Again, I can click on the little ellipsis button, turn off that numbering. And I'm doing this on an item by item basis. So I'm getting all of my headers, removing the numbering there. And this, of course, is, a matter of preference. You're in control here of how you want to create and build your set. All righty. So this is looking pretty good. I've got my cover page, I've got my headings and all of my sub items sort of built out. If I wanted to reorganize or move things around, it still is very simple to just sort of click and drag around. In fact, if you have an item that has sub items, kind of like this exhibits, you can grab the entire chunk of documents, that entire section, and move it around. You can see it's moving Exhibit A, Exhibit B, and the exhibit list. So that's something to kind of keep in mind as well, is that you can sort of work with these larger chunks of documents and create the order that you want with that clicking and dragging. Alrighty, so this is looking pretty good to me. I'm going to go ahead and generate our binder. So I'll hit my generate binder here. And it does give me the option of, do I want to create a PDF file or a zip file? In this case, we are going to create our PDF binder. I have some options here. It will say, do you want to set something as the cover page? It's grabbing the first item here. So, there's my cover page. That looks good to me. Do I want to save this to NetDocuments in my set folder that we were looking at, or we can save it to our local computer? I can name it. Now, it does put the date and the time here automatically. And the purpose of that is to kind of help you separate if you do end up generating this set more than once. I kind of mentioned, if there are changes, you can just regenerate your set. And this is just to make sure that you're not getting those mixed up, which one came first, which one has which changes. But you can, of course, come in here and change this name to whatever you want it to be. Now, this is a really handy feature. The index page is going to be essentially a table of contents, and it's also going to have bookmarks in it. So those bookmarks are really handy for actually navigating throughout the set. So I'm going to go ahead and include that. And, I could call this something different if I wanted to. Down here, we can include page numbers. I can do just regular page numbers, or I can add Bates numbering. So I can come in here and say, I want 4 digits with the ocean prefix, and it will Bates number my documents as well. Now that that's looking good, I'm going to go ahead and click generate. Now, what it's doing right now is it's pulling all the information from all of those documents that we linked. So whatever state those documents are in right now when I'm generating this binder is how the document is going to look in the set. All right, there's that binder. Let's go ahead and open it up and take a look. Uh-oh. Sorry, folks, give me just 1 second. Let's see if I can. All right, so here is our binder. Here's our finished product. I've got my cover page here, and that's looking pretty good. This is our kind of index page that was generated automatically by SetBuilder. I can see that it's got, my Bates numbering here. It's got that same structure that we created with our headings, and so on and so forth. These are all bookmarks, so I could click on any of them to bring me to this particular page. We also have kind of the built-in bookmarks here on the side as well. So I can come and look at my bookmarks and jump around between, my different items. Oh, I want to come in, I want to look at, this various different exhibits. I'll look at exhibit A or jump around to my interrogatories. So you really get some built-in navigation options in your PDF very simply, without any effort at all, really. It kind of creates them for you automatically. The very last thing I want to show you with SetBuilder, and I know we are bumping up on time, is this feature called cloning. So let's say that I spent a lot of good time, building out this set and making it look exactly how I wanted to, and I want to kind of reuse this structure again in the future. I can utilize my cloning functionality to basically copy this and then put new documents in, plug new documents in. So I'll click on the name of the set here, and I'm going to click clone. I have to name this, and I'm going to reuse this for this Bluehound workspace. So I'll call this. Okay, so I've got my new set here. And then this is very important. There's a little checkbox that says replace documents with placeholders. So instead of bringing over the actual documents from this workspace, it's just going to bring over the structure with those placeholders. So I'll go ahead and click clone. This is going to take me to my cloned set in my other workspace that I just created. And this is what it's going to look like. Instead of these documents, I've got placeholders. So what I can do is come in, click edit to go into edit mode and just set the documents for what each of these are. I'll set my exhibit list for this particular trial binder. I'll set my contact list and my case summary, and I don't have to kind of rebuild the wheel from scratch there. Alrighty, so that's it for the demo. We do have a couple of minutes here for questions. If you'd like to go ahead and send those in the chat. Any concerns or anything? Give me a second. How are the zip files handled? Excellent question. So let's go ahead and we'll take a look at our original set again. So if you generate the zip file, it holds on to that structure. You have, see it has this little checkbox, include preserve set structure, include index number. So I'll go ahead and generate this and it'll be saved to my computer and we can take a look at it. So here's that zip folder. And if I open it up, what it's done is it's created the PDF index. It's pulled each of my documents in and numbered them, which is an option that I enabled. And then for my sub items, it does put them in these folders. So where I had, this exhibits heading here and those 3 items within, it kind of does the backwards function where now I have an exhibits folder and inside I've got ABC, these documents. Great question. When you copy a doc, is it creating another copy and saving it in ND? Yes, it is. So if I go back into my workspace here, I can see in my sets folder, it is creating a copy of the file. Oh, where was it? One of these, I think John Doe was a copy. And in fact, if you go into the workspace, let's see here. Yeah, see, I've got 2. That's the copy feature. Let's see here. Had trouble with the drag and drop feature for adding new documents. Can you demonstrate that again? Sure. So when you're in your set, and we are at time, so if anybody has to hop off, thank you so much for joining us. Let's see here. So when you're in your set, and remember, you do have to go into edit mode. Another question while we're waiting for that to load up. Can I produce a set from PDF docs or do they all need to be in Word? No, you can do PDF docs as well and kind of mix and match if you want to. So I'll go into edit mode here to show that drag and drop functionality, because we do have to click on edit mode in order to get my toolbar up at the top. There we go. So I'll go to add documents, and then I can just drag and drop into any of this white space. So, you know, for my example, I used this exhibits folder to just grab and bring it over here and drop it. And that's usually what brings me in, what gives me that. Oh, well, I already put it in there, so that's why it's not loading, but it would add it in here. Oh, look, it did the second copy. There we go. So when you say you're having trouble, is it just that it's not populating for you? Let's see, another question. What if you need to delete a document from the set? Deleting is simple. You just use the little trash can icon. So if I wanted to, I'm hearing to get back into edit mode. There's just a little trash can icon that you can click on. There you go. And that would delete it. It says, do you want to delete the selected document or keep the document or simply remove it from the set? And so here's where you can decide, oh, I actually want to just delete this document entirely, or I just want to remove it from my set. Are you able to provide a one-on-one training session for my firm if needed? Absolutely. We are happy to provide training. You can contact sales@ella-mint.com for that. And we are more than willing to set you up with training. And we do have some additional questions, but we are running over on time. So I am going to go ahead and wrap it up there. We will reach out to you with answers to any questions that we weren't able to get to. I do want to thank you so much for attending today. If you do have any concerns or you need any more information about SetBuilder, please contact your contact at Element, and we are happy to assist. Thanks so much for joining me, folks. Have a lovely day.